let's say, I mean, you are going on a property and you die. Unfortunately, if you don't have people who are able to take over that, you are going to lose that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
The rules of life to your spouse if you can.
We still have about 3 more presentations. Right now, we want to, we have the strategies on real estate, and we want to also hear something on short rental, Airbnb. Mr. Tope Elemeje want to share his own experience about Airbnb. He's a seasoned investor.
Thank you so much. So today I'll be sharing my experience with short rentals. And short rentals, I think what short rentals means is that the person you are taking as a tenant is not going to be in your house on a long term. And that the tenants will just be there for a short while, you get another tenant is there for a short while, another tenant is there for another short while. So there are a couple of there are 2 major companies that actually helps to make it much more easy for you to get short rental tenants. And it's Airbnb and Booking.com. Those are the 2 major ones that I use. There are still so many other little ones. There are so many other ones. And I'll give you a quick story of how I got into short rentals, into Airbnb. So myself and Mr. Akinopola, in March, I think 2014, we had to go to Toronto, and I was trying to look for the cheapest hotel that we can stay in order to just save cost. So the places, the hotels that were there, like the minimum like 500 per day, and I was wondering that there should be a way for us to cut this cost, and that's how I got onto on Airbnb, and I got a place, just a room. It's actually a dormitory, like a normal school dormitory, but they now have a room in it, and there are like 2 single beds in it, and there's a place to cook. So we got that. I got that for $30 per day. Then compared to me having to pay like $500 per night. So we stayed there. I slept on one small bed, and he also slept on the other small bed. But we were able to do what we went there to do, and so that was my first experience. It was the second experience that actually got me into. Actually, prompting that I can do this same thing. So the second one, I went to also Toronto, just myself, and the place I got was the basement of one old man. And when I got there, he told me to wait because he had some guests in the basement, and he actually slept in the sitting room because he has also given another guest the upper part of the house. So I didn't really understand very well. I just, I kept calm, and I talked to him after that. And he told me that he has been doing this, and averagely on the basement alone is getting 900. So that caught my mind then, because then, my house, my mortgage was $600 per month. So I was wondering that if I can get someone, and I use my basement, which I'm not really using, I just use for visitors once in a while, that means I can be living in the upstairs for free. And so I go back to Winnipeg. On getting back to Winnipeg, I talked to my mom was around then, and my wife also. So I talked to them about it, that I've just gotten a good idea, and that we're going to be using our basement for rentals. And my mom, she came into the discussion, and she was saying, you guys will now be bringing visitors in every day and every day. To now make matter worse, after I just told them we're going to do it, that we give it a try and let's see. To make the matter worse, I got the first visitor. The first guest. And the first guest that I got, when she came in, it was my mom that welcomed her in. And she asked my mom that, what's your name? My mom said, my name is Janet. From that day, when she's coming from upstairs, she will say, Janet. So my mom, it was, my mom said, how will you be? That someone is now calling me Janet. And that's how, they said this is not a good idea. But, my wife agreed with me that it seems that if we can really do this well, this can really pay off our debt. And like we have the bungalow in St. Boniface then, and we're just paying around $600, like $320 bi-weekly. So we started with the basement. We did a clean it up, and before we figured it out, really it was paying even more than what we have to pay. So we were able to jack up what we were paying back to the bank, and we're paying more to the bank. Eventually we sold the house, and we were able to now pull up a lot of money out, because we sold the house and we've paid up a lot of we've paid a lot of the principal. So when we got to the new place, we already make up our mind that this is like sure banker, and I spend a lot of the things I do. I try to make sure that I try to get all the knowledge that is possible there. I've tried to get a lot of information that I need about this thing to make it so much profitable. So we're using our basement. So we started using our basement for the Airbnb, and really I've tried to tell a lot of my friends also. They've asked me about this, and a lot of them are also doing the same thing. So that's how I got into Airbnb. And eventually, there's one particular question that a lot of people used to ask me, that does it make sense to invest into a property and use that property for Airbnb? In my opinion, I would say you have to go to the same drawing board that they will say that location is really key in real estate. For real estate, I have a property on Chancellor's Drive, and we make good money there on Airbnb, short rentals. I use Airbnb and I do Booking.com. Both of them are typically the same thing. Although Booking.com, you're able to charge more for the same space, because Airbnb, you have so many people doing Airbnb, and the pricing sometimes comes down because Airbnb is encouraging you to lower the price, and some people take the bait and lower the price. So you have whereby making the price to come down. So if you're thinking of investing for short rentals, you have to make sure that you are getting a good location. The space we have on Chancellor's Drive, it's a duplex. So the upper side is 3-bedroom, and the lower side, which goes to the basement, separate entrance. The lower side is a 1-bedroom suite. So you have the sitting room, kitchenette, then you have the where they can sleep really, and the laundry is also there. So on that place, in a month, it's always filled up. Like, I don't have a single day that is vacant, and the minimum I would charge is $50 per night. For the Airbnb. If they have more than 2, they can still stay there. Then I will charge an extra fee of maybe $10 for the 3rd person, and another $10 for maybe the 4th person. So averagely on that place, I make like $1,500 clean in the place. On the other side, on the other part of the house, we eventually
$1,000 a month.
$1,500 in a month, yeah.
For the basement only.
For the basement only, for the basement suite only.
So for the other one.
So the upper side, initially I was using it for Airbnb, but when I faced the problem of getting someone to make sure the place is clean, so it was becoming much more tedious. Then we're making, I would say it comes to around $2,000 we make on the upper side. But eventually someone approached me that he was willing to now take that and just live in that place. And we lowered that to $1,700. So someone was getting that for $1,700. A lot of the time, the basement brings in more than $1,700. And I would say the only reason why we're able to get that is just the location. If it's possible, you can get even a bigger house somewhere else, and you might not even get half of that money. So yeah, so in the same thing just come to play here. If you want to invest in the short rental, there is location. Some of you have to think of the location issue. In my place, in our house, our basement side, averagely we make around $1,000 monthly. We do for around $30, $35, and from 20, and we make around, it comes to $1,000 monthly on the basement, which pays a big part of our mortgage also. So eventually it's like we're living for free because we have someone that is coming in to pay the bill. One thing you need to to look at, there are some, I won't call it disadvantages, I will call it challenges. There are some challenges that you will surely face with Airbnb and Booking.com, any short rental. One of it is that there's always concern of security. whereby so many people, different set of people will be coming to your place. So in our case, my wife is always concerned that, oh, we have a girl, and, you know. So it's always issue of security. Most of the time, Airbnb will tell you that they guarantee you up to a ton of $2 million. If anything happens, they are there to help.
So is it 2 million or 1 million?
I think it's 2 million.
Or maybe they changed it.
Yes.
Just
Liability. Yeah, it can be 1 million also, but the third party liability in case anything happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they cover.
So is it because you also pay to them? So
Yeah, you pay to the way it works is that when they send someone to you, there's a commission you are paying,
okay.
and they're also taking money from the other place. As a matter of fact, they are making more money because let's say you are making $100, they are making maybe $10, but that $10 they're making it on so many people. You know, so they are making so they actually control the system really, and that's another thing that is also a disadvantage to the owner of the house because they control the system. They are the owner of the system. So if at every point in time they tell you that, oh, it seems houses are not moving now, we suggest that now be doing it at $30. To them, they will still get $3, but it's still good for them. To you, it's not good for you because your monthly pay is coming down. So some of the disadvantages, another one that I see as a challenge also, you don't have a true control over their system. You know, their system is based on the review and the other stuff. When someone comes to your house, they expect that person to leave a review for you, so that when other people are coming, they will look at the review. In some cases, the review is not always accurate. Someone might just come and say that because they don't even like you at all, they are just giving you 3 or they're giving you 4, which is not good for you. The next person will see that your rating is coming down, and your rating also affects how you come up in the search engine. So eventually, if your rating is going down, even if it might even get to a point that they will tell you that your rating is below 3, we don't even want you on our platform. So you don't have true control over the system. Okay, then those are some of the challenges. Then let me tell you some of the advantages. One big advantage that I see with Airbnb is the fact that you are able to maintain the quality of the house. Because constantly, when one guest leaves the place, you go in, or you get someone that goes in there to make sure they clean up the place for you. So you are not actually waiting till like end of 2-3 years before you actually clean up a place. So at every week, the place is being cleaned up, the place is being maintained. If something is broken, it's being fixed for you to get the next person. So the house will not actually depreciate. You understand? In our case, the lower part of our house is actually much better than the part we already stay. Because we're constantly maintaining the place, we're constantly cleaning it up, we're fixing it to make sure that people that comes are going to have a good experience. So it helps you to be able to keep a good to make sure you keep the house in good quality at every time. If you take a full-time tenant, Mr. Kimbola can testify to you to it. We have a property together. If you take a full-time tenant after 1 year, 2 years, by the time you come back, if you are not careful, all the profit you've made for those 2 years, you are going to use it to fix that place.
Right.
I'm facing one now.
Yeah.
The damaged garage door is $1,600 to fix. The smashed one of the windows.
Yeah.
That's $1,650.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to get the money back from them.
Yeah. And so that's really true. So whereby if you use that space for Airbnb, you ensure that because after each person there might be a damage, one you can easily quickly claim it back from Airbnb and get it fixed. Or if it's just a minor thing, instead of leaving it to now become something big, you quickly fix it by yourself. Then another thing is that you have the cash flow of Airbnb and Booking, the short rental cash flow is much more stable, and it's coming as a cash flow. Like it's you're seeing the money as it's coming in. you won't have a case whereby someone will owe you for like 3 months and you don't actually get the money. In the case of Airbnb, they pay Airbnb before they even have access to you, before they can even see your contact. So your money, and once Airbnb has the money, Airbnb, the second day they come into the house, the money comes into your PayPal account and you can now deposit it into your banking account. So you actually have good cash flow from those short rentals compared to the long-term stuff. I'm not saying that short rental is better than stuff. I actually have the two of them, but I think I'm just trying to say that these are the advantages of that we see with the short rental. Another thing I say here is that your payment is much more guaranteed with the short rentals. In the case of the short rentals, just like I've said, you get your money. It's coming from Airbnb. It's not coming from the tenants that actually stay there. So in conclusion, I think it comes down to like one statement that I picked from Robert Kiyosaki, where he's saying that how do you really define an asset and how do you define a liability? An asset is really anything that puts money back into your pocket. You understand? So if your house is not putting money back in your pocket, based on that definition, the house is a liability. If your car is not putting something in your pocket, it's a liability. So anything that eventually puts money back in your pocket is really an asset. So with this, a lot of us have spaces in our place that we can really turn into an asset, and I think we should look at it. Thank you so much.
The taxes.
Yeah, I also asked that too.
Yeah.
The tax, at the end of the year, you report.
Yeah, so in the case of the tax, because this money are actually easily traceable, they are coming from PayPal, they are coming and it's showing straight in your account. So you have to declare it as taxes. But you are able to also claim a lot of things as expenses. So in most cases, by the time you look at what you really need to claim, it will have taken up all the extra you actually make on the extra income you make for me. A lot of things now become deductible, so you're able to deduct anything that you can say that is related to the business. Furnitures, anything.
Wine.
So you can say you buy a TV and you say that TV, I put that TV in the basement, even if that TV is for you. So far you're able to say, okay, that TV was meant for the basement. That TV is tax deductible. You can deduct it and claim it as expenses.
My question is, what are these basic things that have to be there?
I think, like in my case,
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you
have access to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah. Look at an hotel
2-star.
and look at what 5-star hotel. Yeah. Look at the hotel and now see what are the things that are always available in the hotel. And you want to go a little bit more than that because you want to make sure that they have access to maybe where they can cook and things that they reduce the cost for them also. You want to make sure that even you can provide snacks. In some cases, you can put some cookies somewhere, because those things will help them to review. And those reviews good for you.
And also breakfast. You provide breakfast.
Not compulsory if you like.
Compulsory breakfast. And it's better you don't get to that level of really providing breakfast for them. You in the case of breakfast, you can have maybe cornflakes, and things that are things that are just there, that will just be there, and that you don't necessarily need to be filling up. Yes.
Okay, I have like
No, you can do that.
So I have like 3 questions. Number 1 is you said the good side. How do you manage the cleaning? Because it can be very, very tedious. I mean, when someone goes out and now comes. Number 2, of course, when someone is coming in, there should be someone available consistently to receive them. Now, I mean, for you that you do 8 to 5 or thereabout, how do you manage in terms of someone is coming like 1 p.m., someone must be on ground to receive them, and when they are going to leave, they have to drop the key, all those logistics. Number 3, security is a big concern. Yes. So, how are you able to create a workaround?
Okay, so for the key, I'll take the key first. The key is now we have the code key, whereby you just need to give them the code, and you don't necessarily need to be there to actually let them come inside. So after they've paid, in fact, you can even set up the Airbnb system in such a way that after they've paid, Airbnb will send the code to them. So they already have the code, and you don't necessarily need to be there when they actually check in.
If it goes,
Yeah.
change the code.
You might change it periodically.
Yeah.
You know, like
No, actually, most of those keys you can set up to 30 different codes. So what I do every time someone is coming in, I'll give the person his own code. Like everybody in my house has their code. So the visitor coming in, I'll give them the code. Once they are out, I deactivate the code, and I create a new code for the next person. So I have my own way of setting the code so that it's easy for me to know who came in and when the person came in. You understand? So.
But is it code to the main entrance? Because I don't know how your house is, is set up.
Yeah, so for my house,
If it is the main entrance into your basement, so that's what he's saying.
Yeah, so my house is just the front door into the house,
Good.
then you go into the basement.
Mhm.
Yeah, so everybody comes in through the front door.
Yeah, and the place we have on Chancellor's Drive is a separate entrance into the basement. So there is on that door is you have the code there. That's where you can just punch in the code, and they can just go in. The fact is that I hardly even see the tenants that actually go there. Maybe I will see maybe one in I would say even maybe 1 in 100. So hardly do I even see them. And for the cleaning we're able to figure out. In my case, I was able to get a university student that came up with a deal for me, whereby for after each of the guests, he will go there and clean up. He have access to my calendar also. So even if I'm not working, then he will see that, okay, this person is leaving this place today, and he will go in and clean immediately after they leave the place. So before the next person comes in, the place is already set. So we just need to communicate, and I just need to make sure that, okay, have you cleaned the place, and we do that. The third one, the security. The security is definitely a concern, especially if you are using your same dwelling. So one of the things we've tried to do is to make sure that we have a security camera in our own space. You cannot put a security camera in their own space. You can put it maybe at the entrance so that you know everybody that is coming in, and you see everybody that is going out. And that can even be an advantage to you, because sometimes they pay for just 2 people, and they bring in like 4 or 5 people. So eventually you can say that, okay, 4 people are coming into the house, I need to charge them. Yeah. But I've been doing this for a while, and really I've not really had any issue related to security. The worst one I've had is a guy that came into our place, and we felt that this guy was smoking in the house. I was at home, and my wife came and said, "What's going on?" So she even said that maybe she felt that I was the one talking something. And we reported them, and we got them out immediately. We called that they were smoking in our house, because on the rule we have for them is a no smoking space. You cannot even smoke within the house. You are not expected to even smoke within our place at all, our compound. So if they need to smoke, they are addicted to smoking. They are supposed to take a walk to do their smoking, but not within our place.
So another thing that you also need to do is, before you accept anything, go and check the review of the person.
Yeah.
So what I do, I'm not desperate, so I make sure that person has at least review. I want to make sure that this person is someone that I can bring in.
Yeah.
You understand? If there's no history, I
Yeah.
will try and talk to the person. You can talk to them. I'll call them, I can chat with them. Based on my conversation with them, I will know whether this is a reasonable person. I've been doing it for about 3 years without any problem.
Have you had any case of theft or anything missing?
No.
After.
Yeah, for me, no. I've never had. We've never seen a case whereby maybe someone steals something. No.
In fact, what I experienced recently, someone broke one of the teacups, and this lady, she didn't tell us. or maybe she forgot, but she bought another teapot and sent to us
Oh, yeah.
to replace it. You know, we're just cleaning and I saw, oh, this cup is broken, I just tossed it into the garbage. The following day, the lady sent the teacup. I was like, oh, why?
Yeah.
How was the teacup? So, yeah, we've not had any bad experience.
Okay.